first, I was a little stumped as to what video I could provide for the monumental day of April the 1st. My first idea was to put on a white shirt and review a video game while swearing loudly, but as someone who prides himself on being original, yes I am, I moved past that idea and settled upon sitting beside a ticking clock while speaking lines of poetry. This though seemed beneath me, and so I arrived at the video you're watching today. A brief foray into the comment section of my most recent videos has brought up a number of points from posters requesting that I speak slower in my videos as they find it hard to follow or generally understand exactly what I'm saying, so for those people, this video is for you. Why I like Kate from... Oh, bollocks, I can't do this. Why I like Kate from Lost. Lost was one of those genre-defying shows that comes along once a generation and takes over the imaginations of its fans to such a degree that you can't do anything but sleep through the night and when awake fantasize about living on an island while being chased by a pillar of black smoke who is actually a copy of the nameless brother of the island's deity who is looking for a replacement because he's grown old and tired in his role as giver of eternal life, weaver of tapestries and eater of fish, and so searches out a potential replacement by hatching an ingenious plan to interfere in the lives of people whose names he's written in a cave and in a lighthouse in an attempt to get them to the island so they can be killed off one by one, whereas the remaining person who takes the job can save the world and then pass it off to the fat one and then die with the dog. Jesus, and I thought the application process for that guy with the glasses was steep. In bringing these lovable rogues to the island, you have the Jack of the group, because every American show these days needs to have a Jack, then the fat one, the Asian ones, the British one playing the Iraqi one, the one who's nice but pretends he isn't, the Hobbit, the Butcher, the Greengrocer, and then a bunch of others who will surely die before the first episode's even finished. What made Lost stand out from the masses wasn't its amazing story, interesting characters, or gripping mystery. Oh no. The reason Lost stood out was for one person and for one person only, and that person was Kate Austen, played by Evangeline Lilly. Kate Austen is one of those characters that comes along once a century and that defines a genre and truly gives women of all ages a role model and a pillar to reach for. The role won her a multitude of awards and an adoring fan base, which even today calls for the spin-off which would detail her adventures off the island where she goes around with two other women fighting crime while working for a man called Jacob. Kate entered the show early in episode 1 and from that point on was the focal point as we saw her grow from a manipulative murderer, a liar and a fugitive into... Through 6 seasons we watched as she bravely led 2 men on, raised a baby that wasn't hers, and then imagined an afterlife for herself in which she was a manipulative murderer, a liar and a fugitive. And her importance to the on-island life can't be ignored either, as in the grand scheme of things, it was Kate who the story revolved around, with those unimportant pieces of information like what did the numbers mean and were the others important, paled into insignificance when you realised that it was Kate who slept with Sawyer, then she slept with Sawyer again after seeing Jack talking with Juliet, then she got off the island without Sawyer and slept with Jack, until she got bored and went back to the island and saw Sawyer sleeping with Juliet and wanted to sleep with Sawyer again. These were the questions people were asking. Screw the secret of the island, we wanted to know who deserved Kate more! You see, that's what I admire most about Kate that others seem to ignore. More than any other character, she grew as the series went along. Her episodes were always more interesting, getting to the heart of this truly complex woman. From the big things like learning how she heroically married Captain Malcolm from Firefly, only to drug him and leave him behind because he was boring. Yeah, fuck you, Mal. To the little things like seducing her best friend, who is now married but also had a child, only for the silly sod to jump into her car while she's running from the police for a murder she committed, which then results in his death. Silly bugger. Shouldn't have been in the sodding car anyway. No other character could be this heroic or self-sacrificing. In fact, Kate could easily be compared to Jesus. She's got the hair, now all she needs is the beard. I realise this could be offensive to Christians, but then what do I care? No one cares about insulting Christians. Unless you do it in those really weird areas in America where they chase you with pitchforks when you upset them for sleeping with their sister. And that's why I like Kate from Lost, a strong independent woman who takes no shit, follows her own path, is selfless, strong-willed, always right, doesn't get in the way, and is a true inspiration for women everywhere. Join me next week where I take a look at one of the greatest games to be released in recent years, Metroid Other M.